There was a time when money had a sound. It was the weight of metal, the echo of gold striking gold, the measure of value you could hold in your hands. But today, money is silent. It exists in screens, in signals, in belief. No substance, only trust. What happened between the world of coins and the empire of digits? How did the most powerful currency in human history, the US dollar, come to be built not on gold, but on faith itself? This is not a story of economics. It's a story of belief, how human civilization replaced weight with words and value with illusion. Because to understand the dollar, you must first understand faith. For thousands of years, civilization sought something eternal to anchor value. In Egypt, it was gold, radiant, incorruptible, divine. In Rome, the same metal gilded the empire's expansion. Gold became more than wealth, it became truth. Unchanging, universal, eternal. But gold had a weakness. It was heavy, finite, slow. Empires ran faster than their gold could move. And in those gaps, between what was promised and what was real, something new began to form: trust. At first, trust was simple: a receipt, a note, a claim. A banker's promise that your gold was safe and you could reclaim it any time. But over time, humanity made a dangerous leap. We began to trade the promise itself. And once that happened, the gold became irrelevant. The belief was all that mattered. The birth of the dollar was never about metal. It was about mythology. In the late 18th century, America was a fragile experiment, a nation without identity, without currency, and drowning in debt from its own revolution. Gold and silver were scarce. Each colony had printed its own paper, flooding the newborn nation with chaos. There was no single truth of value, only fragments of faith. Then came Alexander Hamilton. Brilliant, calculating, dangerous in his ambition. He saw that the United States could not survive as a republic of barter and confusion. It needed a system, a symbol, something people would believe in, even if it wasn't real. So in 1791, he built it, the first bank of the United States. It printed notes that were not backed by gold in its vaults, but by the promise of the nation itself. The people accepted them. The government spent them. And slowly, a new kind of alchemy began. Paper was no longer just a claim on gold. It became gold. Every civilization before America had worshipped metal. But the United States did something radical. It worshipped its own credibility. The dollar was born not from mines or markets, but from belief in the system itself. Yet that belief came with a curse. Because once a nation's value rests on faith, faith must never falter. Through the 1800s, the illusion strengthened. Banks multiplied, paper money flowed. Every note whispered the same promise: redeemable in gold. It was a lie everyone agreed to believe. Because as long as not everyone redeemed their gold at once, the illusion held. But belief is fragile. And in 1861, faith broke. The Civil War drained the nation's gold reserves. Desperate, the government printed greenbacks, pure paper, with no gold behind them. For the first time, the US dollar was entirely symbolic, a currency of pure trust, issued under fire. Many called it betrayal. But it worked, because soldiers, farmers, and merchants still used it. Not because it was backed by gold, but because it was backed by necessity. In that moment, the United States discovered something more powerful than metal belief under pressure. When the smoke cleared, something profound had changed. The people no longer demanded gold for their paper. They demanded stability, security, continuity. And that meant faith, not in gold, but in government. So the cycle deepened. The more the nation grew, the more its currency became a reflection of its collective psychology, hope in prosperity, fear of collapse. The dollar wasn't a metal standard anymore. It was a mirror of the American mind. Then came the 20th century, and with it, the perfection of the illusion. In 1913, the Federal Reserve was created. It was sold as a stabilizing force, a guardian of value. But in truth, it marked the final separation between money and reality. For the first time, private bankers controlled the pulse of the dollar, creating and destroying it with a pen stroke. They called it monetary policy. But it was something older. A new priesthood of faith. Decades passed, wars came and went. Each conflict demanded more dollars, more promises. And each time the government obliged. It printed, borrowed, expanded. Yet people still believed. Why? Because after every crisis, America emerged stronger. The illusion had become self-fulfilling. As long as the world trusted the dollar, it worked. By 1944, that trust became global law. At Bretton Woods, the nations of the world agreed. The US dollar would be as good as gold. Every other currency would be measured against it. But there was one secret, one truth hidden in the fine print. The dollar itself was still only paper. It was redeemable in gold for foreign governments, not for citizens. The people no longer held gold, they held faith. For a while, the illusion was perfect. Factories boomed, the middle class rose. The world's gold flowed to America's vaults, and the dollar became the lifeblood of global trade. But as always, belief breeds temptation. The US began printing more dollars than it had gold to redeem. Wars in Vietnam, programs at home, all funded by promises no vault could fulfill. The numbers grew, the metal did not. And in 1971, the facade cracked. President Richard Nixon faced a dilemma. Foreign nations, especially France, began demanding gold in exchange for their dollars. The vaults were draining. Faith was fading. So, on a quiet August night, Nixon made the decision that would reshape the world forever. He closed the gold window. From that day on, no dollar anywhere could be exchanged for metal. The link was broken. The illusion became reality. Gold was no longer the foundation. Faith was. At first, people were stunned. Then nothing happened. No collapse, no chaos. The system kept running, as if gold had never mattered. Because deep down it hadn't. The world didn't believe in gold anymore. It believed in the dollar. And that belief was enough to make the dollar real. From that moment forward, money itself became a story, a shared hallucination of value sustained by confidence, repetition, and fear of the alternative. And the Federal Reserve became its storyteller. When the printing presses roared, the world listened. Every note was another promise, another breath of faith in the invisible. The economy expanded not by discovery or creation, but by credit, by imagination, by belief. People stopped asking what a dollar was. They only asked how many they had. Inflation became the quiet tax of disbelief. Debt became the engine of progress. And faith, the invisible thread, held it all together. But faith is never free. It demands constant maintenance, reassurance, spectacle, control. The 2008 crisis revealed that the system could survive anything except doubt. Banks failed, markets froze. And in response, the Federal Reserve did the only thing it knew. It printed trillions from nothing. And once again, it worked. Because the illusion, though wounded, still functioned. The belief remained. Humanity had crossed a line. Money was no longer a measure of value. It was a measure of faith in those who control the narrative of value. Today, the dollar stands alone, a currency backed not by gold, not by silver, but by the authority of the United States government and the inertia of global dependence. Its true power lies not in substance, but in psychology. People accept dollars because everyone else does. And that cycle of mutual belief, fragile, circular, infinite, is the foundation of the modern world. We call it the economy, but it is, in truth, a collective act of worship. Look closer and you'll see that every financial crisis, every boom, every bubble is just a test of faith. When markets rise, belief strengthens. When they fall, belief wavers, and central banks rush in to restore it. They call it stimulus, but what they're really doing is preaching. The dollar, once born from gold, has become a religion. Its temples made of glass and steel, its priests in suits, its hymns written in interest rates and debt ceilings. And like all religions, it depends on believers. So here we are, a world that abandoned metal for meaning. Our vaults hold paper, our screens hold numbers, our minds hold faith. The dollar doesn't need gold anymore. It has us. Because faith was the true currency all along, the invisible energy that turned promises into wealth and paper into power. Gold was finite, faith is infinite. And that's what makes it dangerous. Some say the dollar is dying. Others say it's evolving. But maybe it's neither. Maybe it's just revealing its true nature, not as money, but as a mirror. A reflection of what we believe, what we fear, what we obey. A symbol of the one truth that never changed. Value is a story, and whoever tells that story controls the world. We like to think we control money, but money was never ours to control. It was and always will be the purest expression of faith. When gold vanished, belief took its place. And as long as we keep believing, the illusion will live on. Because the dollar was never about what we could touch. It was about what we chose to trust.